Okay, Rob. It's time for general anaesthetic.
Oh, right, I've got to do that.
Like Question Time, I've always said, this is where I feature a national news story of the week that caught my interest. And there are quite a few I've got at the moment sitting in my inbox, if you like, that I want to cover. But I've got to cover this, Rob. I read about it in The Guardian, and I went and found the original article that was written in The Telegraph.
Okay.
Because the original article is by Richard Madeley. Now, Richard Madeley is the real-life Alan Partridge.
Yes.
If you want to know some things that Richard Madeley has said, because I used to watch This Morning a lot in my student years and as a teenager, you can go online and look Richard Madeley quotes or something, and somebody has catalogued them all, and they are quite astonishing.
They're amazing. Yeah,
they're brilliant. Amazing. You couldn't write them. Would you like to hear an article written by Richard Madeley?
Well, I mean, Richard Madeley is one of the people that you think has to be a character. He has to be this sort of. It's some sort of, like I said, this personification of someone else, but it's really not. This is actually who he is.
It's from the 13th of April, and he wrote an article for The Telegraph, of course. And it says, the headline is, Richard Madeley, the day I took on the drone invading my personal space.
Right, okay.
Here we go. We're used to odd noises in our part of Cornwall. Occasionally there's a sudden crackle and roar as an RAF fighter bomber streaks low out to sea on exercise, or the deep blatter of a naval helicopter chopping its way through the air above us.
There's no hints of irony there or anything like this. It's not.
No, remember, he does write books as well. I think he's trying to show off his writing skills.
Right, okay.
Until it was grounded, we often heard the distinctive double crack of Concorde's sonic boom as the pilot applied the brakes a little bit late on his way back from New York. But on Tuesday, the sound that was drifting down was new to us. As I sat on our Atlantic-facing terrace, reading my Daily Telegraph, no, honestly, I heard what sounded like a swarm of angry bees descending, or maybe it was a gaggle of those horrible hornets that migrate from France. I looked up, ready to flee.
Right.
Nope, it was a drone, a tiny one, a bit smaller than a frisbee, with a shiny white airframe and 4 tiny propellers, confidently buzzing away as it manoeuvred and stabilised itself over the terrace. My first thought was it must be high-tech thieves casing the joint, looking for ways to break in. Then it manoeuvred into a static position above me. Now I'm used to being, in quotes, papped by itinerant photographers at the oddest of moments. I don't know if papped is a euphemism. Out shopping, buying ice cream for my granddaughter, taking my wife Judy out for Sunday lunch. It makes me sound like a dog. It goes with the territory. I just want to read that again so we get insight into his life. He's used to being papped by these photographers when he's out shopping, buying ice cream for my granddaughter, or taking my wife Judy out for Sunday lunch.
There's very specific things as well.
Yeah, that's all he does.
Yeah.
I've never ever complained, and neither has Judy. We don't take ourselves that seriously. But a remotely controlled Skycam, hovering Big Brother-like above our garden, spying on me. At the time, I was wearing daft surfer shorts. It was a lovely sunny day, and well, nothing else.
Oh God, I can just imagine that image now.
I would never dream of going out anywhere I might be photographed dressed like that. Yet here, in my entirely private space, I was under surveillance, for who knows what purpose. For me, this was a red line crossed. I thought about fetching my .22 air rifle and shooting down the nasty little intruder.
Of course he has an air rifle.
It would have been an easy one-shot snipe.
An easy one-shot.
Rob, could this have been written by Alan Partridge?
Oh, I mean, there's been numerous times in this article so far that it could have been.
And the robotic carcass would have fallen onto my lawn, but the words criminal damage whispered in my ear. Do I own the airspace above my property? Probably not. Did I want to be the party that police took in for questioning? Instead, I leapt into my car and drove out onto the country lane, where I reckoned the drone's remote-controlled operator must be lurking.
But why didn't you just go indoors?
Because he wanted to find out who it was.
Right. Okay.
The craft zoomed off, too. Sure enough, a scruffy white van was parked up round the corner from our house, and a pudgy middle-aged man hurriedly pushed something under the front seat before jumping back inside and starting up the engine. I leapt out the car and banged on the side of his van. Oi! Stop you! I want a word. He revved hard, fishtailed around my car, and hammered up the lane out of sight.
Sorry, is this true or is this a work of fiction?
This is all true.
Bollocks, is this true?
He revved hard, fishtailed around my car, and hammered up the lane out of sight. I don't know if that's a euphemism. But not before I got his registration number, which a few minutes later I tweeted to my 250,000 followers with the request. If anyone could tell me who the Peeping Tom was, I'd report the matter to the police. 5 minutes later, Chummy handed himself in by phone to Devon and Cornwall police. Chummy. 5 minutes later, Chummy Robbie's looking like he's constipated. 5 minutes later, Chummy handed himself in by police to Devon and Cornwall police. He hadn't meant any harm. It was an innocent flight. Yes, he'd been taking pictures via the drone, but never dream of using or selling any of the images. No harassment intended. Apologies for any incursion into my privacy. ... The police later told me that they'd, in quotes, given him advice, which means he's on file, and if he tries this sort of thing again, he'll have previous, or be up in court. So all's well that ends well. But is it? Is it, Rob? As I said, my wife and I, and indeed our children, are pretty relaxed about being papped when we're out and about. But I can't tell you how violated and threatened I felt when I realised that a tiny spy plane had been hovering directly above my private space. And not just violated.
When he says private space, does he mean...
Hugely angered. I'd been in my Cornish garden, reading the Telegraph, wearing silly shorts, sipping stewed tea, and I was too embarrassed to mention this earlier, cutting my toenails. Do we need to know it, Richard? Sitting in my Cornish garden, reading the Telegraph, wearing silly shorts, sipping stewed tea, and cutting my toenails is a very good episode title.
There's really been...
You've got to put Richard Madeley in the tags. Do we have tags anymore? No.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
There's really a disconnect, really, isn't there, from him and the rest of society?
Drones have been available to buy on the high street for a couple of years, but the law concerning their use is still fluid and formative.
Oh, God, right, okay.
We need clearer legislation, and not just for privacy's sake, but for safety too. Passenger airliners have had near misses with these dangerous toys. In February, an aviation safety hearing was told how a drone had been flown within 20 foot of colliding with a passenger jet on its approach into Heathrow. In 2014, a man from Cumbria was convicted after he lost control of his drone near a nuclear submarine facility. I'd suggest a licensing system. Users should have to show why they actually need to use a drone. Otherwise, ground them. Or allow .22 air rifles to do the job.
Chilling. Absolutely chilling. No, sorry, not chilling. Tedious. Tedious. Absolutely tedious.
No, chilling.
Fascinating
to read an article by a psychopath.
I'm struggling to understand the point of that article. That he feels that drones should be licensed, that his privacy was invaded.
Do you believe that he ran off after and banged on the side of his van and it fishtailed around his car? And
No, I think he just needed some extra cash, so decided to write to make up this entire story, which for some reason the Daily Telegraph, who I always had a degree of respect for, printed without question.
The Guardian also covered.
I hope
Telegraph
out
article.
of sheer irony.
I hope so too.